Dungeons now versus a long time ago is very different, and that's because the meta's changed and the setups changed with new items coming in. But in this video, I'm going to show you guys the old dungeon setups and see if they're still worth it. Before we get into this video, I would appreciate if you guys would like and subscribe. I kind of spent around 50 mil on this video, so I would appreciate it if you did. And let's start off with the first one. So the first one is called the speed setup. Now the reason why it's called the speed setup is because around Catacombs 30 you could get Young Armor. And basically this was a setup that many people used because back then secrets were a big thing also. And clearing was too. So you had to have a lot of speed back then. And this gives you around 93 speed from my Catacombs level. Plus Spirit Boots, which gives me 117 speed. And then of course, since it's a mage, we have the Shadow Goggles and Spirit Spectre. So let's test it out and see how good it is. So whenever I first start out in the dungeon, it's pretty insane because I have 324% speed with this armor set on. And that is actually very good. And I am going to be using a sheep pet for this because sheep pet is one of the pets that most people used back then, especially when you're using a Spirit Spectre. So I'm going to be seeing exactly how much damage I do and how good it is because, like I said, 324 speed is a lot. Usually I have to rogue sword up. If I switch over to my other setup, I have around 177. So that's around like 100 to 200 more speed just by switching sets. Okay, so let's test our damage. Do we one tap? We almost one tap, but we still do a decent amount of damage, and we're able to just run around and clear like this, which is pretty fast. But you guys also gotta remember, I am Cata 40, so of course your damage won't be that well, but we're just testing this out right now. I mean, on a mini boss, usually I just ice spray them, and you could just do that, I guess. You just spam click it as you're hitting it. So, I mean, I could clear these rooms pretty well just by running through. And, like I said, I have 386% speed right now. Just off of, like, almost the beginning, which is almost max speed. So yeah, I kind of died, but let's keep on going to test. So, let's also check out our health and mana. And defense, of course. So, with this setup, I have 5,000 health, 2,000 defense, well, 3,000 defense, and 9,000 mana. With just a switch of a set, remember, this cost about like 10 mil, and this cost around, I don't know, like 60, 70 mil. I only get 2k more health, only 100 less defense. I had more defense on the other set, but I do gain around triple the mana, which is a lot more damage if you think about it. No, I only get double the mana. So basically it just doubles the health and doubles the mana just by switching sets. No, it only gains 2,000 more health. So just with the price of 70 mil, you're not really losing that much, but you are losing a lot. So I mean, I guess this setup is kind of good, which is pretty, surprising because it used to be a setup a long time ago. But now let's talk about the tanky aspect. So this is the tanky class. And what I mean by that is basically we have Necrotic, same thing, but the three pieces that changed is this, this, and this. We have Necromancer, and tier 12. The reason we have tier 12 is because of the defense it gives, and we have this because it gives a good amount of defense and health for each piece. And this used to be the setup that many tank mages used back then because, I mean, of the health and defense it gives you. Like my EHP right now with this setup on is around 447k. If we put up on this setup, which I normally use, we get around double just by using the setup. So for the price, I mean, it's decent. But let's go check our damage because this costs around 50 mil. So let's go check our damage and look at our speed. We basically have no speed, but let's go check our damage. So our damage is pretty decent with this setup because, I mean, of course it's going to be defense. We have Necromancer and Necrotic on every single one, but our damage is pretty bad. Remember, I'm mage class, wearing a tank setup, so you could get way more HP, but this is what most people did, is they ran mage and didn't go tank, because tank really wasn't that good of a class back then. And yeah, it still does decent amount of damage, but you're losing a lot of speed, but you're gaining a lot of EHP. And yeah, those are the two setups I wanted to test out, because the third one is basically just healer, which is tier 9, and spirit boots, which is pretty understandable with a Minder helmet, because, I mean, yeah, that's pretty good, but it's just not worth testing out because of all you're getting is more defense, less health, and no damage at all. So it's not really worth testing that one because I feel like it would be useless for you guys, and you know, there's much better sets right now for that. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and goodbye.